Call the honourable member for Deakin.
Bruce Bilson's very safe if you're the Shadow Parliamentary Secretary for Small Business. And this MPI today on competent economic leadership clearly says to me that no one would ever turn and look to the absolute abject failure as the member for McMahon if they were looking for economic leadership. And nor would they look for the venerable member for Lilley, the mentor to the member for Rankin. And I saw the member for Rankin, you looked really excited when he gave you a bit of a pat on the head after your contribution. Well, we know you were behind his 500 promises of a budget surplus. And where were those surpluses? Where was that wonderful economic leadership? Because here on the MPI today, we're looking for competent economic leadership. Where was that wonderful economic leadership from the member for Rankin, who was the advisor? He was the main man advising the venerable member for Lilley, the worst treasurer this country, I'd say the worst treasurer that any advanced economy has ever seen. In fact, many members opposite put out newsletters saying that they delivered a budget surplus. In fact, the member for McMahon, the man who has put forward this MPI today, said that he had delivered a budget surplus in 2008. Where was that? Where was that wonderful economic leadership that the Labor Party are now calling for? Well, unfortunately, the Labor Party have not learnt their lessons. And quite frankly, until you do learn those lessons, the Australian people will mark you down, because you have not shown any contrition for the abject failure that you put forward in this country for 6 years. Now, one absolutely undisputed statistic that nobody in this House can argue with is the fact that we have gone from creating 3,600 jobs a month under Labor, on average, to last year creating 16,700 jobs a month, to this year creating 23,200 jobs a month. Now, you can't fudge those numbers in any way. You cannot fudge those numbers. So we've gone from 3,600 under Labor to 23,200. But on this side of the House, because some of us have actually got private sector experience, we're not all union hacks like those opposite, we don't take credit for all of that. We are not so arrogant as to take all of the credit from taking average job creation from 3,600 under Labor to 23,000. We accept that that's the great work of individuals, of small businesses, of entrepreneurs in the private sector who have created those jobs. But we have created the environment that has enabled them to flourish, and we will continue to do so, and there's so much more work to be done. So when the Australian people are looking for competent economic leadership, I can assure you they will not be looking at the member for McMahon, the man who will be remembered for Bowen's black hole, the $30 billion black hole that he left, or the man that he replaced, the member for Lilley, who, quite frankly, is just like a Christmas present every day. When we see him over there, when I see the member for Lilley every day walk into this chamber, I just think wonderful. We will remind the Australian people day after day of the abject failure of the Labor Party for 6 years and the reality that the Labor Party have not learnt one single lesson. And come election day, the Australian people will be thinking about the security of their job, whether they can pay their mortgage and the future for their children. And they'll have a party opposite who argues against trade liberalisation. The left of the Labor Party now are large and in charge. Now, sure, they might have been humiliated at their federal council a little while ago. Sorry, member for Scullin, I know that was difficult for you. But they are large and in charge, and the Australian people will not entrust their country with a party who does not accept trade liberalisation. And Chafter, I hate to say it, you will be taken there kicking and screaming, otherwise you will get absolutely marked down. So when the Australian people are looking for economic leadership, I can absolutely assure you they will not look at the abject failures opposite, the people who have just slunk through the university system into a union and now they've got their seat on the green leather. Well, actually, the Australian people will look for people who have got real-life experience, the ability to understand what they need to do to create the jobs and the wealth and the productivity that will grow the economy in this country. They will not go back to the member for McMahon and the failed member for Lilly.
Call the honourable member for